40% of marriages end in divorce. That is the facts that you see online, and it's enough to keep me on my toes. It's not uncommon to hear that you might have been divorced, or your parents might have been divorced, or you know someone that has been divorced. The analogy I heard a lot growing up when it came to divorce is, you and your siblings would be watching The Simpsons while your parents argued in the next room, and it got me thinking, it is probably a much higher statistic of kids today watching Mr. Beast in the living room while their parents get divorced in the next room. When you think about it, Mr. Beast is his third wheel in a whole generation of divorces. And look, I can't be too harsh, okay? Because my dad is actually divorced. He's a divorced dad by default, because my mom's dead. What's going on, party people? How are y'all doing? And today, on my 9-year anniversary with my wife, I want to pivot away from the typical relationship advice that you see YouTubers talking about on the Reddit threads, and I want to give you some divorce advice. I know this is niche. This might be a whole new niche. I might be a trailblazer when it comes to YouTube Reddit content. But I found some wild divorce stories online, and I want to share them with you because, we all might get to a point in our long-term relationship where things are pretty rocky, and I hope this settles your mind on which side of the fence that you're sitting on. And before we get any further, press subscribe, because for every subscriber we get, another child of divorce is promised to meet Mr. Beast for Christmas if they just tell the judge that they want to stay with mom more than they want to stay with dad. I knew someone who screwed the other person when she asked for a sewing machine. She had moved from Ontario, Canada to Alberta. The guy didn't want to send it, but it was entitled to her, and she agreed to pay for the shipping, said money was no object. So he sent the machine by taxi. A drive that distance usually takes about 3 days. Now, this is the level of petty I aspire to, not in terms of my divorce. Okay, everyone just keep it down. But I love this kind of stuff because it's harmless, but it's also helping the economy. This taxi driver, he's going to get paid for this drive. I can picture this as kind of like that Due Date film where they're traveling across country with like the ashes, but in this time it's just a sewing machine. That would actually be a really good movie to watch. Hollywood, give me a call. I have a friend who went through a nasty divorce with a cheating spouse. His wife wanted the money from some penny stocks that did really well. He told her, okay, if you pay the $75 transfer fee, then you can have them. She did. Little did she know the stocks had taken a massive dive and were now worth less than the transfer fee. Wow, I'm going to be honest, God forbid I ever get divorced, because this is most likely what's going to happen. Because during the pandemic, and just like everybody else, I thought I was a genius when it came to crypto, and I put a bunch of money in there, and I can tell you now that money is worth way less than what I put in. Really, when you think about it, this is Wolf of Wall Street. This is probably like most of the clients Jordan Belfort had. This is the outcome that most of those people had. Again, Scorsese, give me a call, because that is a sequel that I would watch. She tried to show me screenshots of his crimes, but accidentally showed me messages between her and her drug dealer. As if that's not the most poetic version of the callers coming from inside the house. He must feel so liberated for that. I can see them like fighting over something really hard. And he's like, damn, I just wish that she got caught up in some crazy drug deal and I could just win over. Watch the $14 million settlement. Damn, that is so much money. And I bet these people are insufferable. A lot of these stories are probably leaning on like Succession level of wealth, which took months to achieve. Abandoned when the parties came to who would keep the cat. For that, there was a week-long trial. Jurors wanted to euthanize them both and take the cat home themselves. Man, the jurors in this situation are the heroes of this story, because I could imagine them sitting there with all this pent-up rage watching these bozo millionaires fight over money when they're probably only making like 50 grand a year. I think at that point, the jurors should be financially compensated based on whatever money's been fighting over. That would ease the pain just a little bit dealing with these insufferable bozos. Dumbest fucking divorce I ever sat through lasted over 2 years. 2 years for a divorce? God damn, I hope they were married for at least longer than that, because they refused to let each other get any ground. I was only there for the last year of the divorce, but they argued over who got the Christmas ornaments for 4 months. 4 months of Christmas ornaments? The amount of time you spent arguing over that, you could have bought Christmas ornaments like 10 times over. And yeah, sure enough, there's a pro tip if you're ever in divorce, just saying, sure, take it, is infinitely cheaper than your invoice would be otherwise. It makes so much sense. The amount of money that you would, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I'm still pissed off about the rich people, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Not a divorce lawyer, but my buddy's wife left him 6 months after the wedding, got engaged to another dude a couple of weeks after leaving. Damn, that is some cold shit. I actually knew a guy that was with this girl. I think, pretty sure they were engaged, but he was with her for like 6-7 years, and then one day woke up and found out that she had been dating another dude behind his back for like 6 months, by the way. Like, his profile just had hella photos of him and her together. Insane. Some people are just like, what makes you think that you're not going to get caught? Actually, they probably don't care. They built a house together, like 3,500 square foot. For all my fellow Vancouverites, that's a lot of space. This is 500 square foot behind me, okay? That's a lot of space. It was absolutely beautiful. She had a hand in designing it, and they moved in right before the wedding. As a divorce was going through, it was decided she and her new guy would keep the house. Oh my god, that would feel terrible. We moved his stuff out and threw 2 back-to-back Project X type parties. Didn't clean anything and just left the house sitting for like 10-15 days till she moved in. Middle of the summer, AC off, windows shut. It was bad. I could imagine. I don't think there needs to be any other explanation beyond that point, because I remember I threw a house party when my dad was away one weekend when I was in high school, and it took me days to clean out some of the smells, okay? I couldn't even fathom what this would be like. There was so much damage. I won't go into details, just use your imagination. It was bad. X never officially moved back in because it was so bad. They sold the house a few months later after a lot of repairs. I wonder if you would even bother with the repairs. You know, that's like just such a huge L after such a shitty move. You should probably think to yourself, you know what, just board it up, sell it as it is, and let's just try and forget all of this had ever happened. And you know what, you can't even be mad as the other person who won the house, okay? You already did the super shitty thing. You shouldn't be surprised when this thing happened. I'm not endorsing any of this stuff, but I'm just saying you shouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of backlash for your shitty actions. My partner has a mate, must be Australian. My partner has a mate who was going through a messy divorce. He registered as a gambling addict. Sure. Again, if you're Australian, I'm pretty sure you're born with a gambling addiction. If any Australians are watching this, you know how bad gambling is in Australia. I didn't realize how bad it actually was until I moved to Canada, but goddamn, our country is riddled with gambling. And went to some Gambling Anonymous and proceeded to go to the casino every day, taking wads of cash with him, pretending to gamble it all away, while he was secretly I can't even say this word. Squirreling it all away. What, you fucking like put a hole in a tree and just put it in there? Fucking hell. That way, when it came to divorce and he was questioned where all his money went, he could prove that he lost it all through his gambling addiction and never had to pay her a penny. That is some next level thinking of how do I make sure my spouse never gets any of my fucking money. I will say this is highly unrelatable for me because I don't have that kind of money, you know? Mine is all within like one e-transfer because I won't even hit the daily limit of like $1,000. So we're good. I'm good on this. I don't have to do this crazy elaborate plan, okay? I'm chilling. Husband and wife getting divorced. There was a classic car, Ferrari, Jaguar, or something like that. What is this? Fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off? It's like, yeah, man, we had a really expensive car. It was Lamborghini or Ferrari, you know, the rich ones. That was worth a lot of money. It was a bone of contention in divorce. After several months, the husband finally proposes that he will let her have the car if she gives him the house. She agrees. Come to find out, he had been taking the car out every day and doing loops around the city for hours, putting thousands of miles on it, making it worth nothing. Again, this is the Ferris Bueller divorce when you think about it. This is how the parents got divorced. The house was beautiful and the car was really good. This would be the only outcome of that divorce. Let's be real here. And I know I made the joke earlier about like The Simpsons and your parents getting divorced in the other room. Well, for me, it was movies because my dad was kind of going through it with his divorce, if you know what I'm saying. I read one where in the settlement, that there was a shared custody of a parrot. Neither were allowed to teach the parrot to swear at the other one. Just having that in a legal document is so funny. It's probably the only time that that is in a legal document in the history of divorces or parrot law, bird law, if you get my reference. Also, I've never understood why people get birds as like pets. That's something that still boggles my mind. The other day, we were walking around downtown and I saw this sign and it said like, lost bird, please call this number if you've seen this bird. Sorry, that bird's gone. Like, it's just flown away. What do you think is going to happen? You think it's just going to turn up to a shelter somewhere? The bird's gone, dude. A soon-to-be ex-husband left his wife's prize koi to die on the doorstep of their house. Again, this is rich people stuff. What do you mean you have, like, a prized koi fish? It's a fish. Apparently, the value of these fish, 6 in total, was over $100,000. So you spend that much money on a pet that you can't like communicate with and you can't take it for walks and it doesn't like love you the way that my dog loves me and my wife? Dude, what a waste of money. She was, according to a lawyer, so distraught that she couldn't be in court. Only in LA. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Only in LA. But I'm sorry, I don't understand how people can be so emotionally attached to fucking fish. Also, I think there needs to be another court case over the criminal cost of these koi fish. $100,000 for 6 fucking fish? Are you crazy? You could go to a fancy restaurant, order 6 of the top of the line fish that they have in a Michelin star restaurant. It would cost nowhere near $100,000. What the fuck are we doing? I feel like certain tax brackets are like, oh, we have an aquarium. That's a conversation that I've never heard of before because I don't know anyone that rich. In the divorce, she went AWOL. She was living in a truck somewhere and just couldn't handle it mentally. He gave her 5 of his 9 companies. They were the ones that owed 7 figures in payroll taxes. He had made her the bookkeeper on paper. She spent decades trying to shake the IRS for the results. God damn. Again, that is some cold shit. But also, why do you have so many companies that owe so much money? Like, I own one business and I don't, again, 7 figures, different tax brackets. I would never understand this. Also, 9 companies? Dude, how do you sleep? That is just so much to think about all the time. And 5 of them owe millions of dollars in taxes. So you're Trump. You're basically Trump. Just say it. This is Trump's divorce. Once had a boss who had to leave the house for 6 hours while his ex-wife grabbed all the belongings she wasn't legally entitled to. When he returned home, every knob and handle was gone. Doorknobs, cabinet handles, drawer handles, anything that was screwed onto something and used to open it, she had taken. Every day for the next week, he would occasionally yell out, "She took the fucking knobs!" Again, that's a level of petty that, like, I find absolutely hilarious when it comes to a divorce. Who knows? This is probably not like the typical IKEA knobs that you get. This is probably some high-end shit and, you know, spent ages matching the doorknobs to the cabinetry to the house. We're dealing with stories from tax brackets that you and I would never understand, okay? But I am 1000% invested in all of these. The divorce lawyer told the story of a rather well-to-do couple that spent months and months and many tens of thousands of dollars fighting over absolutely everything, all the way down to a single ceramic ashtray. He couldn't remember the significance, but somehow it had come through the husband's family. Even after everything else had been decided, they spent many more months and nearly $100,000 fighting over just this ashtray. Then, after a court hearing, the wife finally won the ashtray. She promptly strode out to the white courthouse steps and smashed the ceramic ashtray, left the pieces all over for the husband to see on his way out. Again, chef's kiss of spiteness. I love to hear it. Also, again, $100,000 for an ashtray, man, like, that's not worth it. I don't care how vintage it is, you know, that's just not worth $100,000. I'm sorry. That is like some antique roadshow level of money, you know? It's like, oh, we have this one of 7 ashtrays that from World War II. It's somehow worth $100,000. How? How? Okay, and with that, I think we have read enough divorce stories today. Hey, maybe you have a crazy divorce story, and I would love to hear it. You know how much I love hearing spiteful stories, so leave a comment down below. I have learned that my marriage is going splendid, and I'm going to treat my wife really well, especially tonight after recording this video, because I don't want to wind up on one of these crazy Reddit stories. Again, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Tell your parents that you love them.